What better way to kick off my YouTube channel than with this beautiful tumbler that I made? I'm going to teach you guys how to do it start to finish. I'm taking Saraphina by Petey glitter. Petey is going to be linked in my description with a discount code for you, as well as a few other things. I'm doing a burst in the middle with Saraphina. I'm then taking Heart Happy and I'm going to ombre that into Saraphina. You want to make sure that you are angling your tumbler, that way you're not getting too much of Heart Happy into the Saraphina. I am using the tack it method. So I just basically took tack it and I coated the tumbler twice. And I like to use a wet brush rather than mixing my tack it with water. I just feel like I have better control over the consistency that I like my tack it to be. I then go in with my fingers and I start rubbing that glitter in to get the tack it method look. I think fine color shift glitters are best used with this method, but of course you can let your creativity fly and use whatever colors you want to use. Even if you want to use chunky, I've done it with chunky. It definitely works. It just lays your glitter flat, essentially. I know there's a bunch of hacks out there that make the tack it method easier when you're rubbing down the glitter, but I am a creature of habit and this is just the way that I like to do it and just what I'm used to doing. The great thing about the tack it method is you can do as many layers as you want. I wanted more of a subtle look to this glitter, so I just did this coat. I did do a little bit of a second coat. I didn't add more glue. It was still a little bit sticky, so I just went over it with some more Saraphina and I rubbed it in some more. I just wanted the pink to pop a little bit more. That way you can actually tell that the pink was there. So once it's completely smooth, you can go ahead and coat it with epoxy. I use DIY epoxy products, Speedy Petey mainly. They are linked in my description as well. Once that is epoxied smooth, I'm taking this element sheet that's from Gracefully Created, also linked in my description. And I'm just cutting out some of the flowers that I want to use. What element sheets are is basically a sheet full of decals. The decals are white backed, so you're able to put them on whatever color base you would like. I'm using my Denos little tool to rub these down. Now this is a curved tumbler, so it's a little bit harder. You just have to be really careful when you're laying it down that you're not folding it too much. You can always go in and pick it back up. These are removable. What you can also do is you can cut slits just to make it easier to curve to the tumbler. I do suggest that when you're using these, you cut as closely to the decal as possible, like I'm doing here. It won't show once you epoxy over, but you want to cut closely just because if you overlap, it does show in my experience. So just try to cut as closely as possible and rub them down very smoothly. That way they don't lift. So I'm just going to keep applying these to the tumbler, just scattered around. That's pretty much it for this tumbler. It's super easy. Even if you're a beginner, I really think that you can make such a beautiful tumbler using these decals. Once you have all of these laid out where you like them and you're really happy with your outcome, you can either seal it and then go into epoxy, or you can go straight into epoxy and just epoxy it until smooth and you have a beautiful finished tumbler. Let me know if you try this and enjoy the rest of the video. I do want to say one last thing right here. I was having a little bit of trouble with the curve of the tumbler, and I just basically cut slits on the sides of those little leaves, and then I went in with my X-Acto knife and sliced out the areas that folded, and it was completely smooth.